Hey lovelies, welcome back to the channel. So I've always been interested in the power of herbs, herbalism, and just healing our body, mind and soul with herbs. I've always wanted to have my own little apothecary, and when my friend decided to bring over some herbs for me to dry, I decided to go to the next phase in my herbal journey. So here is the first installment of me starting off my herbal pantry. I understand this kind of video isn't for everyone, and that's fine. I can see you in the next one. I hope I can motivate others who may be interested in starting and didn't realize how simple it really can be. So with all that being said, let's get into this video. This one has a chalk label on it, so you can label what you need and the date that you're putting the items in there, just to keep track. This one you can find a chalk label to stick on here from maybe Michael, or you can actually just get a label from the Dollar Tree, sticky label, and just put that on there too. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna try and propagate this. It's a bit dried out already, but I'm gonna try and bring this back to life and grow my own plant, working piece by piece. So like you see, it's already dried. If you did plant this yourself, you know the environment that it came from, so you can go ahead and just dry it straight from here. You wouldn't necessarily have to wash it if you don't want to. This was given to me and I'm not sure exactly where it came from first, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and rinse this off in some vinegar water first before drying it and putting it in the dehydrator. If I was not going to use the dehydrator, what I would do is just take these limbs, so like a section like this and this, and hanging them upside down so that all of the leaves are facing down. I could wrap some twine around them and just hang them like that. You just put them in a cool place to naturally dry out on its own. If you have any concerns about pests or anything getting to them, I would suggest getting a bag like this. It's kind of like a cheesecloth, so you could just put a bunch of them in here, and it has a it has a drawstring top. You can just pull it closed with them inside and nothing can get to it. So that's another option. So because I'm about to wash this, I am going to get my bowl, just go down each stem and remove the leaves and just pop it in the bowl. If you have any pieces with the flower on it, you can actually dry these too, so this can also be used. So these are the spirulina leaves. They look like spearmint leaves to me. I'm guessing them both starting with the same spear. They're in the same family. Don't quote me on that. So I'm going to rinse these off in some water and apple cider vinegar. That's maybe a tablespoon. You just wash it. After you wash it off with the apple cider vinegar, you're gonna wanna clear that water and rinse it off again. You don't want to leave any residue of the vinegar on the leaves. So now this is all rinsed off. I've washed all of the vinegar off of it as well. There's no smell of that vinegar, it just smells like the spirulina plant. I'm going to set this out on a towel just to dry it off before putting it into the dehydrator. This is how they're looking right now. The brown ones are the ones that just started drying a bit sooner. It smells really good though. On a clean kitchen towel, just going to sprinkle these out. This one is cerasee, also known as bitters, because it is very, very, very bitter. If you have some Jamaican people in your family or Caribbean people in your background in some way, shape or form, you've had this before. This looks more like a nest, and there are still buds in here, the flower buds. You can dry those too. Even though these are mostly dry already, I'm still going to wash this. There aren't little leaves to go in and get. I'm going to be drying the vines for these also, so I just need to make them small enough to go inside of the container. So this is already washed off. I use cool water. You don't want to use hot water because then it starts to, I guess, the oils from inside start to come out. It starts to seep like tea. You don't want to use them yet, so I'm just going to cut them into pieces like this and then leave them to dry. And then as I am cutting through any foreign bodies that don't need to be in this, I can just take them out as I go. But all of this can be used. This is what we call leaf of life. It's really good for the respiratory system, and it's really easy to propagate. So if you are getting into growing your own herbs, I would suggest starting with this. All you need is a leaf. So this whole plant that I have right here, it started from one single leaf. You can put it in some dirt and it will grow up like this. It will even start growing from your kitchen counters all on its own. So I'm going to be using a dehydrator to dry my herbs. You don't have to use a dehydrator. You can either leave it to dry like I mentioned before, just air dry by itself over a few days, or you can use your oven. Turning your oven all the way down to 180 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 to 4 hours or so should do the trick. But I'm going to put them in the dehydrator. Usually it's recommended you put the thicker leaves or foliage at the top because the heat rises and they'll help dry the top ones a bit faster. But to be honest with you, all of my herbs were around the same density, or so it wasn't really necessary for me to organize them in that way. When drying the herbs, you don't want to stack them on top of each other too much. You want enough space in between it for air to flow through. I ended up with so much cerci. So cerci is good for the lowering of cholesterol, menstrual cramps. It's a dewormer and a antioxidant. It has antioxidant properties, so it does flush toxins out of your system. This is the spirulina, and spirulina also has really good benefits such as anti-inflammatory properties. It's a painkiller and it helps you heal a lot faster. It's a nutrient boosting food. It's full of antioxidants also, and the list goes on. One of the plants I seem to have lost the footage for was for this one right here, and this is moringa or moringa. I searched and searched. I'm not sure what happened, but I did record myself washing it. So I did wash it the same way I did the others, and then I let it dry a little bit, and now I'm putting it on the dehydrated tray in the wrong way. I completely forgot that the leaves were so small it would fall through the cracks. So I went and got some parchment paper and I made a surface for it to sit on and still allow the air to flow through. Moringa is a really good herb. I use it because I am anemic. It does help with the iron levels. It's good for your brain, your bone and kidney health. It's anti-inflammatory and it's also a cancer fighting herb. Actually, all of these herbs are known to be cancer fighting herbs. I set my dehydrator to 160 degrees Fahrenheit and left them in there for 4 hours. It wasn't completely dry, so I added it for an additional 4 hours. So this is 8 hours later. Now that the herbs are dry, I'm just adding them to these airtight glass jars. Ideally, these would be amber jars because you want to keep these herbs away from direct sunlight or light and in a nice cool dark place. Excess of heat or light will reduce the potency of your herbs, and you'll be able to see that with the colors changing. The colors won't be as vibrant and they won't smell as strong. You also don't want to crush your herbs up too much when you're storing them. It's best to leave them when you are going to use them, to break them up if you want to keep the nutrients in as long as possible. And if you do take good care of the herbs, it can last up to from 1 to 3 years. Now this is the leaf of life. Leaf of life also has really good benefits. If you want me to do a video going into more of the benefits of any of these herbs or some others, just let me know that in the comment section. I'm going to leave this right here. If you have any questions, the comment section is there. Like the video if you enjoyed this. Subscribe for more from my channel. And until next time.